Everyone, welcome back to Turning Pages Together with Aditi. Let me begin with a simple question. If someone told you that one moment of your life is more important than all the others combined, which moment would you choose? The day you got your dream job? The day you got married? Or the day you achieved success? The Bhagavad Gita gives a surprising answer. It says, the most important moment of your life is the last moment of your life because that final moment reveals what you have truly lived for. And today, let's understand why. Think about your day for a moment. How many times do you check your phone? How many times do you think about work, money, deadlines, relationships? Now, here's another question. When your mind is free, where does it naturally go? Because the Gita teaches that our final thought is not accidental. It is the result of what we have practiced throughout our life. Krishna says that whoever remembers him at the time of death attains him without doubt. At first, this sounds simple. But then another question arises. Can we suddenly remember Krishna at the last moment if we never remembered him during the rest of our life? Imagine a student. The final exam is tomorrow, and tonight he says, "You know what? I have never opened the textbook, but I'm sure everything will work out." Would you trust that strategy? Of course not. Because what appears in exam depends on what was practiced before the exam. The Bhagavad Gita says life works in the same way. Death is not the time we begin preparing. Death reveals what we have already prepared for. In a way, every day is training the mind for that final moment. There's something remarkable about many great personalities. Towards the end of their lives, they often speak less about achievements and more about meaning. Steve Jobs once said that being the richest man in the cemetery did not matter to him. Why? Because when life begins to draw to a close, a person naturally starts asking deeper questions. Who am I? What was this all for? What remains when everything else is taken away? The Bhagavad Gita has been answering these questions for thousands of years. It tells us that this life is not the end. This life is preparation for what comes next. Now, here is something beautiful. Krishna never tells Arjun, leave your responsibilities. He never says, run away from the battlefield. Instead, he said, remember me and continue your duty. Think about that. Arjun was not sitting in a cave. He was standing in the middle of chaos. And yet, Krishna asked him to remember him. Because spirituality is not about escaping life. It is about remembering the divine while living life. You can be a teacher and remember Krishna, a student, a parent, or a businessman and yet remember Krishna. The goal is not to stop working. The goal is to transform consciousness. Have you ever noticed something? If you watch a movie repeatedly, scenes from it stay in your mind. If you listen to a song every day, it starts playing automatically inside your head. The mind remembers whatever it repeatedly encounters. That's why Vyasdev gave us scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic literature to help train the mind towards higher thoughts. As materialists constantly feed their minds with worldly information, spiritual seekers feed their mind with wisdom because what we repeatedly think about eventually becomes our consciousness. Many people ask, how do I remember Krishna all the time? The answer is surprisingly practical. By hearing about him, reading about him, chanting his names, talking about his teachings, little by little, remembrance becomes natural. Just like a person in love naturally thinks about person they love, a devotee naturally begins thinking about Krishna. And according to the Gita, this constant remembrance is the highest form of yoga. So before we end, let me leave you with one question. If your thoughts reveal your destination, what destination are your current thoughts preparing you for? Because the last thought of your life is not created in the last minute. It is created in the thousands of ordinary moments before it. The books we read, the conversation we have, the names we repeat, the things we love, they are all shaping our consciousness. And Krishna's invitation is simple. Remember me now so that you can remember me then. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time, keep learning, keep reflecting, and keep turning pages together with me.